Tim Kiefer, MIBT. So this year we've been trying to present plays that bring you back to the basics of officiating of the game of football. Because the football rule book is the most complicated rule book in all of sports. It just is. There's exceptions to exceptions and different things that happen based on action on the play. I've always made the joke, I've been making it a lot, basketball officials have it easy. You got a 50-50 shot, you're either going out of bounds or you're shooting free throws. You do not have that option in football. Many different things can happen. So this play will test your knowledge or maybe just refresh your knowledge of something you already know. But before we get into the play, make sure you do all this fun stuff that we ask. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss anything. But be sure to go over to mibt.org right now because we have hundreds of plays like this that you can search, and it'll make you a better official. It'll make you a better student of the game, even if you're not an official. Let's get to the play. It's 4th and 10 from the 39, and the offensive team is lined up in what appears to be a legal scrimmage kick formation. As the ball is snapped, it's a short snap, which is fielded cleanly by the would-be kicker. And this is the reason why I say would-be kicker, because as of right now, this is just a scrimmage play, and the team was in a legal scrimmage kick formation. But it doesn't become a kicking play until the player actually kicks the ball. It may seem like a semantic, but it's important when we are breaking these plays down, especially if we were to have a penalty, when that penalty occurred, and how we designate the teams. Because right now, it's still Team A and Team B. Once this player kicks the ball, they become the kicking team. The player who fielded the snap now kicks the ball, changing his status to the kicker, and the defender who's rushing him makes contact with him as the ball is kicked. So we've got that contact there that we have to deal with, but let's move on for now. The ball hits the ground at the 1-yard line and amazingly bounces straight up where a member of the kicking team attempts to prevent it from breaking the plane of the end zone and then recovers the ball right around the goal line. Now, we have a back judge in perfect position to rule on this, a line judge, and they want to figure out what they're going to do with this play. And eventually, the referee comes down and they decide to award this ball to the receiving team at the 1-yard line, the spot of first touching, and that the ball did not break the plane. Okay, a couple things to look at on this play. First off, let's go back to the potential running into or roughing the kicker. Now, there is this misnomer out there that once the ball hits the ground on a bad snap, that the kicker is no longer protected. And I think we've kind of taken care of that fallacy for a while now, that we've removed that people do understand that kicker is still protected if he is a kicker. Where the kicker loses protection, so to speak, is if there's a doubt, if there's any question in your mind that the kick is going to be made, thus giving the benefit of the doubt to the defense for legal contact. And that's another important thing. It just talks about the type of contact, that it can't just be whatever. It's got to be legal contact. Going back to this play, you can see that the punter, the kicker, never made a move to go left or right. He fielded the ball and kicked it right away. So in my opinion, this kicker would still be protected as a kicker. Now the contact, you kind of see it at the end there and the camera moves away. It seems to be slight. I don't know if I would go roughing the kicker on this. I might not even go running into the kicker. I would have to be there and really see it in full context. But I could support a running into the kicker because the defender does appear to be trying to hold up and just make slight contact with the kicker. And maybe we've got a little bit of an acting job that adds a little bit more to this than it really is. I'm okay with the pass. I would be okay with running into the kicker. I would not want to see roughing the kicker on this, even though the contact could be argued that it was with the plant leg. I'm still not okay with that. I'm good with just running into the kicker. Now, let's go down to the goal line and talk about what happens here. We've always said if you know the call, you make the call, and that's 100% correct. You've got a back judge here in perfect position to rule on this. This camera angle doesn't do us justice. We don't know if that ball crossed the plane or not. We don't know if the player actually was touching the line, because it doesn't matter. It's all about where the ball is. It doesn't matter where the player is touching. Where's the ball when the kick ends? We don't have any view of this. In fact, we're looking through the back of the player. But I will tell you this. I know there are some associations. In fact, I just read one manual about how this particular association is making it kind of their philosophy, their standard of officiating, that if something like this were to happen inside the one, they want to try to rule this a touchback if at all possible, not giving the receiving team a tough situation of 1st and 10 from the 1 or the half. It's got to clearly be at the 1 or it's in the end zone. It's not in between. I think on this play, you may have been okay to go with a touchback, and you probably wouldn't have heard anything on it. The way the player moved, the way the kicking team player recovered the ball. But like I've said before, I said it earlier, you know the call, you make the call. If you're there and you know it, great. But only question I have on this, with the line judge coming down the way he did, the line judge really doesn't have a view on this. This is the back judge's call all the way. The back judge has to make this decision. And maybe the back judge just wanted to bounce it off the line judge to make sure he was going through the process correctly to get it right. And I don't have a problem with that, because nothing's going to happen here. Now, it may give the appearance that we're not 100% confident with our call, but I would rather you check than come out and do something that's wrong, especially if you're not 100%. But the one thing I don't understand is why the referee had to come down and why this took so long. This should be a very simple conversation, a very quick question to get this correct. Where did the kick end? That's what we're asking ourselves. Where did the kick end? So you've got the potential foul, and now you've got this scrimmage kick. Where did it end? These are all different things that we need to know from a basic scrimmage kick where the goal line is involved. A bunch of different aspects. Let's throw one little caveat into this. Let's say we did have a flag for running into the kicker. So if we've got that 5-yard penalty, there's a really good chance that the kicking team is going to decline that. Why would they decline it? Because it's only going to give them 5 yards. It's only going to give them 5 yards. They're going to give the receiving team the ball on the 1-yard line. I would be very surprised if a team took the 5 yards to take away a 1st and 10 from the 1. So that's why this is important. If you had the touchback, if you ruled this a touchback, now that penalty have the kicking team take the 5 yards. In fact, I almost would be surprised if they didn't take the 5 yards and try to do this again. That's why it's important to understand the basics of this play, and if you do have a penalty, to be able to peel back the layers in order to enforce it properly. That's it for today. Make sure you go over to mibt.org right now and check out our hundreds of videos that you can search for more plays like this to make you better when you take the field, whenever that may be. Some people are taking the field right now. This thing is going on all year. You have football all year. You got flag football now. You got 7-on-7. So you want to be better. You want to be the best when you take the field. Subscribe to this channel. Like it. Do whatever you need to do so you don't miss a thing. But what do I say all the time? Because this is what we do here. This is the most important thing. When you walk out on the field, you need to make it be there.